of the Accepted Challenge live Q&A. Let me know you are here, say hello, add in your questions, and we will dive right into day 4. Really the best topic because we get to talk about passion project the whole time. So let me just go ahead and pin the video to our Facebook group. All right. So what we're going to do is I have an agenda that I wrote out today so that we can go ahead and talk all about passion projects and why they are so important and all of those things. The very first thing that I wanted to talk about is, let me just go ahead and share my screen really quickly. There we go. Hello. Hi, everyone. All right, so the very first announcement that I have is tomorrow we have our last workshop of the year, and it's the live workshop that I'm hosting titled 12 Strategies You Must Know and Implement in 2020 to Get Accepted into Your Dream College. And we have 2 dates, actually 2 times. One is it's going to take place at 3 p.m. Pacific time. The second one will take place 6 p.m. Pacific time, so that both Pacific Coast and the East Coast could attend these workshops. And I'm going to be giving out 2 bonuses for people who attend live. We will share all the 12 strategies that worked really well for my students in 2019. And so it's going to be an amazing live workshop. And I've been doing live workshops about 5 to 6 times per year. And this is our last one that I'm hosting. And during the live workshop, I am going to be announcing the winner of the 5-day Accepted Challenge. And also, we're going to open doors to the membership, our Conquer College Admission membership program, as well as the Ivy League Formula program. And this morning, we opened doors to the Ivy League Formula program to the students and parents who've been on our wait list for a while. And so we gave those students a priority. And then we will open doors tomorrow to everyone who is interested in working with me and my team and just having an amazing 2020 year. Whatever you're learning right now is literally just the little taste of what you're getting when it comes to learning about passion projects and how to stand out, how to increase your GPA and all of those things. So it's very, very exciting. And so please make sure to try your best to attend. And we typically offer recordings at the end of the live workshop, but this time we are not offering live recordings, so none of it will be recorded. And so you want to definitely attend and check it out. The link is what you are seeing here. And what I'll go ahead and do, actually, yeah, you guys could just go ahead and see the links, type it in. And we've been sending a couple of reminders about it too. So make sure that you register for the live workshop so that you will learn the 12 strategies for 2020. And then let's go ahead and dive in. That was my little announcement. And let me just put this down. All right, so let's talk about passion projects and why they are so beneficial and helpful. So the number one reason why my students work on passion project is number one, to stand out and to stand out in your own way. And we often think that we have to do a lot of different things to make college admission officers say, wow, what an impressive resume you have. But just because you have a lot of things on your resume doesn't make you a strong applicant. And that's like the number one misconception that we have about the college admission process. Passion Project also helps you solidify your story because all of my students are working on a website right now. So everyone is creating a website because we have to show our passion project to the college admission officers. And they're very easy to make, and we simplify the process. And what I actually, when we were having our Ivy League Formula call last week, actually, my students started working on the About Me page of their website. And I was telling them that, like, oh my gosh, like, you guys are actually getting a glimpse of how to write college essays. So I realized, and this is something that I didn't even think about, but I realized that when students are working on their website, their passion project, they're really forming their story. And that just gets them to think a little bit more about how to position yourself so that you can really be a, compelling, unique applicant, but you're also being reflective about your journey thus far. And if you felt like you didn't do as much in the past year or in the past few years, it kind of motivates you to say, you know what, I'm really going to use this passion project to create a momentum in my application so that I have a story to tell. And at the same time, I can feel very energized and motivated about this entire process. And another benefit is that when you do have a passion project, you have so much to write about in your college essays. And like I mentioned previously, colleges will have you write essays about your personal interests, your academic interests, and just so many more. And when there is absolutely nothing to write about, that's when students start to feel like they are just, missing out, or they're like, oh, is my application good enough? Is my essay good enough? And so when you do have a passion project, you get to really share that compelling story of yours. Yeah, make sure that you guys add in your questions. Wow, you get so many of you guys are attending live. Awesome. So make sure to write your questions on the bottom so that I can go ahead and pull it up and answer them for you. Another reason why passion projects are so powerful is because if you feel like you don't have a lot of opportunities nearby your neighborhood, or you feel like you just can't get around that quickly and easily. Like when I was in high school, I didn't really get to go to places to volunteer or anything like that because my parents were working and I didn't have rights. So whatever circumstances you have, if you really like to do things online, that's another really great reason why passion projects are wonderful, because all of my students are doing a lot of things online, creating YouTube, podcasts, website. And some of my students are actually doing research as their passion project. Some of my students are actually running a business as a passion project. And a lot of students think, oh, if I'm going to major in business, I'm going to take business summer classes, but they're not that helpful, to be honest. And a lot of them are like very camp style. Not all of them, but majority of them are like that. And even like for comp sci majors, my students are creating apps, they're writing codes, and they are creating a website about their app. And so we're doing a lot of different things that are different and non-traditional from what everyone else is doing. Because when you do go to a summer program, it's great, but at the end of the day, everyone else is doing that. At the end of the day, a lot of them are structured. And through a summer program, it's very hard to tell, about the student's personality, their values and strengths, and all of those kinds of things. So that's why my students are in all in with a passion project. Okay, so let me go ahead. The internet connection is kind of poor on my side. I hope you guys can see me okay. Okay, another reason why passion project is very important is because colleges, when students write college essays, they're very like, oh, I'm passionate about art, or I'm passionate about music, but I'm passionate about, making an impact. I love helping others, but it's like, where's the evidence? What did you do? How did you make an impact? Give us the proof, right? And so passion project is amazing in a sense that you can share your evidence and what you've done in your passion project. And it's very amazing. Like my student who loves to write, for her passion project is to write a book and then having a website about it, right? So she really gets to share her work in the most vulnerable, authentic way. And at the same time, she's making an impact. At the same time, she's putting herself out there. And like I mentioned, there is no limit or age limit, I would say, when it comes to fostering your interest and passion. And some students might think, what the heck? Like, you're a high school student and you're writing a book. And my question to that, or my statement to that, is why can't you? Why are we putting restrictions around what we can do and what we can't do? And when you do things that really stretch you outside of your comfort zone, that shows a lot about your characteristics. And that characteristic is what colleges want to see, right? Not just, I went to these summer programs and there we go. Like, yeah, I did what I was supposed to do, right? And do they make a compelling case for competitive colleges? No. And I also think that when students come back from a summer program, they're not as moved, or they're not as like, oh my gosh, like I want to do something, I want to make an impact, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the students who start working with us like sophomore year or whenever they start working with us, they'll say, oh, I went to a summer program, but it was okay. I want something that I can create. I want something that I can execute, that just fulfills me and excites me even more. And I think that's exactly what colleges want to see. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up some questions. A student is asking, what do you think are good examples of passion projects? And my answer to that question is that everyone's passion project, so when I'm talking about everyone, I'm just talking about all of our students inside our Ivy League Formula program. Their passion projects are very, very, very different from each other. Some students are doing live events and they're recording that onto their website and YouTube. Some of my students are creating apps and they are working with investors. Some of my students are creating YouTube videos. Some of my students have a website and a blog. Some of my students are writing books. Everyone's passion project is very different. So the way that my students create a really good passion project is because we have a very strong theme, and that's something that we talked about. We talked about that yesterday, right? That's something that we talked about yesterday. And it's very important that you know why you're doing these passion projects. Often I see students just trying to do it because it seems relevant or it seems like something that you can just do and show colleges, but it's really connected to your theme. And your theme consists of, again, academic interest, personal interest, strengths, value, and personality, right? So if your value and person, so every time my student comes up with a passion project idea, I always check in with their theme. Does this align with your theme? Is this really strengthening your value, your personality? And if the answer is yes, we're like, yes, let's go in. Now, there are actually about 3 different steps to creating a passion project. Then the second step the first step is obviously like creating the process and all that kind of stuff. But the second process is really about scaling it even more. So I had students get featured in magazines because we did guest posting. I've had students connect and work with the organization because the organization really liked the passion project that my student was working on. So there are many different ways to level up your passion project so that you can build a little bit more, or not a little bit, but you'll build so much more credibility that way. So I can't pinpoint to you exactly, Sarah, like what is that is going to be a good passion project for you. But once I do know your theme and do know your personality and your style and all of that, I will be able to give you a lot of good ideas. So I hope that answered your question, Sarah. So really strengthening your theme. Does it align with my theme? That's what you really want to look for. All righty. Oh, I like this question. Do you think it is a good idea to use your Eagle Scout project as an opportunity for a passion project? So I actually have 2 students right now who are doing a passion project that's going to also be connected to their Eagle Scout project too. So my students actually combine them together. And I think one of the reasons why they come to me for help is because they're like, well, I do have a project idea for my Eagle Scout project in mind, but how can I make it bigger? How can I make it more impactful? How can I make it more strategic? So we definitely, I do have students who are doing that. One of my Girl Scout, she's doing Gold Award project as well. So definitely, yes. Okay, so a student is asking, how do you mention that you did that kind of thing, like the passion project at colleges? Is it important to know, or is it just for you? Okay, so it is for you. It is for you, but obviously the main objective of us working on a passion project is for the college admissions journey and its process. And of course, it should be for you and it should benefit you and it should make you more excited. That's the whole point of it. If you're working on a passion project that you're not passionate about, that's not really a passion project. You're just sort of, doing it for colleges, right? So colleges with passion projects, my students write about them in their Common App essay. They write about it in their supplemental essays. They talk about it during their interviews, and they also embedded into their application. So we show the colleges about the passion project in many, many different dimensions. And it's, working on a passion project is one thing, but how you share why you started and why this is important to you and your evidences for it, the way that you're positioning your passion project in your application is also very, very crucial. So it's something that you should do because it aligns with your theme. And so you can combine your academic interests, personal interests, or you can just do academic interests. It just depends on what you prefer. But obviously, I recommend my students very different things. So one of my students is doing something that combines their personal interest and academic together. Some of my students are just working on something that is entirely their personal interest. So it depends on what your strategy is. And there always needs to be evidence. That's why in the Ivy League formula, we spend, October, November. So we spend 2 to 3 months executing the passion project because we're all building websites and platforms and all that kind of stuff. And you can't just say that you did it because it's kind of, it's just you want to build more credibility into your application. So just like doing it and then saying it is not enough. So that's why we do have 3 months that we dedicate in the Ivy League formula for execution and creation. You guys are asking some great questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick this question out here. What's a good passion project for a child whose passion is cross-country? So you want to think about cross-country is your personal interest, right? Obviously, cross-country is not your academic interest. And that's why I'm telling you that it's very important to figure out and identify what your academic interest is, what your personal interest is, and what your value, strength, and personality is. And from there, you can sort of have a brainstorming session of what passion project will be best for you. So for example, like my student who's really interested in basketball, he did basketball classes, and that was one of his passion projects. And it was we had to do this very strategically because you can't just be like, okay, I like basketball, so I'm going to teach basketball. We did it because he already had a lot of academic interest going on. He was doing research. He was also interning at a company. So he already had a lot of academic things going on. So him working on a basketball class and all that kind of stuff for his passion project made total sense. So you want to really evaluate like, okay, here's my academic interest, personal value, strength, and personality. Why do I keep forgetting personality? And from there, you want to think about what is it that I'm not showcasing in my application? How is it that I can strengthen it a little bit more? And then assessing, is cross-country something that I can bring so that it can be a passion project that aligns with my strength, personality, or value, right? So I wouldn't start off with cross-country because cross-country is not your academic interest. And, I always say this to my students too, that you're going to college to study, right? Unless like you're going for division 1, 2, and 3. But I mean, even then you have to take classes at college. Like we all go to college to study. So academic interest and knowing what that is and identifying what that is going to be very, very crucial for you. So that's where I would start. Because I feel like there are a lot of students where they would say, I have an idea, I'm passionate about this, should I do a passion project? But we really want to evaluate the whole spectrum before we say, yes, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, another student is asking, can our passion project be different than what our career major will be? That's exactly what I mentioned earlier, saying that some students work on a passion project that is personal interest based, and some students work on a passion project that is academic interest based. So if you already have something going on academically and you're working on internships or research, or you're doing something related to your academic interest, then you can go ahead and work on a passion project that is more of a personal interest. Or my students would combine academic and personal interests together into a single passion project. That is very easy for some majors, but like comp sci and business, we merge a lot. We do social sciences and entrepreneurship, we merge that a lot. So it can be different from what your career major will be, but you want to also make sure, like in your application right now, in your resume, do you have any academic interest related activities? And if not, we want to put that and keep that as our priority, right? Great question, you guys. I'm trying to pick out a question that's going to be helpful for a lot of you guys because obviously we want to help as many students as possible. Okay, can you talk more on the theme? Absolutely. So I mentioned this yesterday where I think someone was also asking me about theme, and that is that colleges are not looking for a well-rounded student. They're looking for a well-rounded class. So you want to be known for something. You want to highlight your academic interest. Excuse me. You want to highlight your academic interest and personal interest and your personality, value, and strength, right? So those are the three components that create a very, very strong theme. So I'm trying to think of our students in the formula program, like what their themes are. I have one student where his academic interest is business, and his personal interest is photography, and his strength is public speaking or writing or one of those, right? So basically you are using your passion project to highlight and showcase and re-emphasize your strength, values, and personality, because those are the things that really gets college admission officers to say, wow, this student is so creative. This student is so full of grit. This student is so persistent. This student is so hardworking, or this student is this, that. So you want to use your passion project to emphasize, to reinforce your theme. So I hope that answered you. I mean, you just wanted me to talk more about the theme, but essentially that's what it is. And coming up with a theme is something that I feel like when you do it alone, it's very hard because you think, is this right? Like, is this theme good to go? And so that's why in our formula program, the first thing that we do is we talk about theme and we finalize the theme that month. So we don't have to, so we're not coming back to the theme and being like, okay, we're going to change it and things like that. And as I mentioned previously, you don't want to change things around too much because you only have 2 to 3 years to really showcase your resume and your portfolio to the college admission officers. So you want to keep it as it is and not change it or modify it too much. Otherwise, it just becomes it's just like so many random activities here and there. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, so a student is asking, how do college admission officers see our passion projects? So all of my students use a passion project to get accepted into colleges. And the way that colleges see passion projects is that through your passion project, they get to see so much about you. Just imagine you saying, oh, I attended a Georgetown intro to business camp versus I created a business, or I have a website, or I have a podcast, or I'm doing this and I'm putting myself out there. So it enables you to share who you are and what your value is and what your personality is in such a powerful, powerful way. And so how do they view it? They view it with so much of, wow, it's amazing that you did this and you're sharing this with us. And we can just tell so much about you. So that's where I'm saying that even though some students might not have straight A's, but the reason why they can get into top tiers is because you're showcasing how serious you are or how dedicated you are about your academic interests, your personal interests. And through that, college admission officers will see your personality and value and strength. So they would view it in a way that's like, wow, it could be a trigger for them, right? So that's the way it is. And I know this because obviously this is how I got accepted into all of my schools, and as well as last year, class of 2019 students. all of them worked on a passion project. I wouldn't say 100%, but around 90% did. And they all wrote about their passion project and their essays. And so I had students where they got into Ivy Leagues, and even the students who got into top tier, they thought they wouldn't get in with their GPA or ACT scores, but they did because they used their passion projects to create a compelling story, an essay, and everything in between. So it's something that I am very proud of for creating and executing with my students, but it's also a very powerful experience for the students and the college admissions process as well. And just knowing that you have this very unique project and that only you have it and something that you are showcasing it, you will walk into this process with so much confidence. Oh, I like this question. Okay, what was my passion project? So a little bit about my story is I was very overwhelmed, especially my sophomore year, because I was like, okay, I have a lot of AP classes. I'm studying for SAT. There is no way that I'm going to add in extracurriculars, go volunteer, and do all this kind of stuff. And even at that age, I felt like, why am I doing all of this? Right? Because it wasn't bringing me fulfillment. It wasn't exciting for me. I just felt like I was trying to impress the college admission officers, which is such a sad thing if you think about it, right? Like, I don't live my life to impress college admission officers. I first live my life because I want to understand myself. I want to know more about my passion. I want to know about just what I'm passionate about and how I can take that to the next level. And if they like that, then that's when you get accepted, right? So it's like, it's a very sad thing. But anyway, so I dropped all of the extracurriculars that I was doing because I know that I was just like trying to fake myself way into college. And it was just really tiring, right? Like, and my grades started slipping because I was so overcommitted and I was stressed out. And so I decided to volunteer at an elementary school just to try it out. And I'll have a lot of my students also do the same thing where I tell them, if you're interested in something, you've got to try it out. Otherwise, you're never going to know. So I went to the elementary school and I was just going there as like a TA kind of a thing. And what I realized and saw there was something very, very shocking for me. And that was, it was a class filled with fifth and sixth graders. And this was at a low income school in East Los Angeles. And these kids they didn't know multiplication tables. So if I said 5 times 8 or like 6 times 7, they wouldn't know what it is. And they were just like barely subtracting and that kind of stuff. And so that just really shocked me. And I mean, I didn't go to like a private school or anything like that, but I was still like, wow, like income gap creates this kind of an education gap. And so I wrote about that in my college essay. And of course, I also wrote about that and shared that when I was applying to Harvard too, obviously, because I was, going to grad school for education. And so what I did was I created a passion project called a multiplication table party, and I helped those kids out master multiplication tables. And I wrote about that. That was my passion project. And of course, when I was doing it, I didn't even know that this was a passion project, but I feel like that is my strength. I'm very good at coming up with ideas, strategies, how to implement things. And so now I teach my students in a more strategic way. We have websites now, we have podcasts, YouTube, blogs, anything that could really show the colleges what we did and what we're working on. So it's much more high level than what I did when I was in high school. However, it was such a transformative experience for me. And so that's what I wrote about in my essays. And I didn't go to any summer programs. I didn't volunteer hundreds of hours anywhere. I didn't have awards. I didn't have any certificates. I just wrote about that experience, which was very, very powerful. And I remember my counselor who read my essay said that it was very, very powerful because it really happened and something that I felt and something that I experienced. That's why college essays are really good with, especially when a student who's experienced a lot writes it. So for example, if you are not putting yourself out there as much when you can, and I know how hard that could be, but that's why obviously I'm trying to push you to like put yourself out there and take more action. But when you do that, it's just, I mean, when you take more action, the essay is better because like I said, I could have easily said, I volunteered at an elementary school. Or I could have said, or instead what I actually said was kids could not recall multiplication tables. And that was a shock for me, right? Do you see the difference? So that's why passion projects are amazing in a sense that it gives you a lot of experiences and stories to tell, and you are also growing with the passion project altogether. So I hope you guys like the personal story here. All right. So any other questions? Great. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna wrap it up, and I also wanted to share with you, if because we are on the topic of talking about passion project, if you are really serious about creating a passion project and executing it all in 6 months, and you really want that step-by-step guidance, I highly encourage you to check out the Ivy League Formula program. We are opening doors to it tomorrow, and for today we opened it to our wait list, and we are accepting 15 students for January to June round. And I could talk a little bit more about the Ivy League formula because we've been getting a lot of questions about it as well. Let's see. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so basically, this is the page that you guys are going to start seeing tomorrow. It is live right now, but only to our waitlisted students. But essentially, the Ivy League formula, this is a program that I'm talking about where we work with students for 6 months, and we go into 12 college consulting calls. And their first month, what we do is we talk about, let me just zoom this so you guys are just seeing the Ivy League formula one. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see this one. So this is what I'm talking about, 6-month group college consulting program to create your passion project. 12 group sessions with Julie from January 2020 and June 2020. And basically, during the 6 months, we start from creating the passion project, creating a theme. So actually, we start with the theme. So we create your theme, finalize that theme, we brainstorm your passion project idea, and then we execute your passion project idea. And I also teach you how to position it in your essay as well. So it's literally the entire A through Z process. And we actually have 2 rounds running right now. We have an October round running, November one. So this one will be a January one. And some of the benefits that I'm seeing with these programs is that students are just really, really helping each other out, and they know exactly what to do every time we get on a call. So it's never like up in the air. You're not asking questions. It's very much like, well, you are asking questions, but you know exactly what to do because I will guide you through that process step by step by step by step. And we have students who are in 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. 9th and 10th graders, it's great because you can start to build your passion project. And then when you're a junior, you can scale it using or like collaborations with other organizations. You can also be featured in magazines, and I teach students how to do that as well. And then there are students who are juniors who really want to create that like climax in their application before you apply. This is also great for that because it enables you to also create that story, create that climax in your essays. And a lot of my students use their passion projects that way when they're writing their essays because it shows the colleges that you did something about your interests and that you are really passionate about what you're trying to do here, and you have evidence for it. You can also attach your website link to your application. So it makes a very, very strong case. And so basically, this is the program that we are talking about. And I'm mentioning this because obviously it is limited. And so because we can't accept all students who are interested, we're only accepting 15. And so if you really went through today's day 4 prompt and journal and you thought, I really want to create a passion project. I have a few ideas. I want to make an impact. I want to share with colleges what I've done. I don't have too much on my resume right now. And even if I do, I want to make it better. Then obviously this will be a great, great, great program. Do you have to be a junior to enroll in it? No, you can be a freshman, sophomore, and junior. You guys won't believe it. We have a 7th grade student in the program as well. Um, do you recommend we have one passion for college or more? Are you talking about passion project or are you talking about passion? Because what you should have for college is a strong theme, and what strengthens your theme is your passion project. But if you're talking about passion project, then having one is good. Yeah, we usually have students have like one or two. What if you are an undecided for major? I even for my students who are undecided, when we go through when we go through the first month of the Ivy League formula program, we talk about a theme. And so I help students really gain clarity on which major to go to and how to sort of position yourself. You might just think that you don't have a major because you never really thought about it or you don't know really what's out there. So if you know a couple of things that you're interested in, then we can really definitely connect it to a major, and that will be very handy for you. Because I know that you can apply undecided to colleges, but college, especially like Ivy League and top tier, they do ask about your academic interests, and so in your essay. So it's great when you do actually have that kind of, reasoning behind why you want to do certain things. And like I said, obviously you can change your mind when you go to college, but we just want to make sure that we're at least showing and showcasing what we've done so far to explore that field, right? All right. Any other questions? Great. So we will be wrapping up day 4 live Q&A for the Accepted Challenge. And to recap, another question actually that I got from another student was, they were saying, okay, if we enroll in the Ivy League formula, do we also get the VIP annual pass for the Concord College Admission membership? And yes, you do. So you are getting 6 months of the Ivy League formula, working with me one-on-one in a group setting. And you also get to be in our membership for 1 year, where you will be learning what you should be working on every single month, getting live Q&As with me, and all of that kind of stuff. I will talk a little bit more about this tomorrow as well. Okay, this question is very important. It's asking, what if your major does not align with getting good grades in those subjects? Wait a minute. What if your major does not align with getting good grades in those subjects? Can you still do a passion project on it? I think what you're asking is, should I still do a passion project even if I'm not getting good grades on related to my major? And especially if you feel like, oh, I want to show a little bit of my strength in a unique way because my grades don't really show, or I haven't really done anything related to it, then of course passion project is going to help you out, of course. Like for me, like my SAT score was not good. And when I mean not good, it wasn't that good. I'm not going to share the exact score, but I wasn't really happy with it. And so I really think that one of the reasons why I got in was because of my passion project, because I shared with them like, yeah, my SAT scores might be a little low, but here's what else I did. Here's how I explored my interest and my passion. So yeah, definitely. And I hope that I interpreted your question correctly. Great. I think I had another student asking, what if your passion project does not have, oh, this one right here. What if your passion project does not have great influence? I help students get influence. And it's hard for students to make their projects well known, to spread the idea. And so that's what we work on inside the formula program. Okay, you guys, we're gonna wrap it up, and tomorrow is our last day. So as a reminder again, we are having our live workshop this Friday tomorrow, one at 3 p.m., one at 6 p.m., and you can register using the link here. And we will be announcing the 5-day Accepted Challenge winners during the live workshop. And let's see, what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're going to have 2 new bonuses. If you've already attended my live workshop in the past, I have 2 new brand bonuses that you will get as a gift. So make sure you attend. No recordings will be available. And we will also be giving out bonuses for the membership program for those who attend live. So I hope to see all of you guys in the training, and I hope you have a great evening. I'm looking forward to your guys' responses, and make sure to share your passion project ideas and write them out, and really like putting it all out on the paper so that not everything is in your head, and really just like expressing what you are feeling or thinking using the daily prompts. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.